What up? It's your boy T on the reaction. About to get into another dig in the greats though. I feel like I should know the main guy who does his name as well too. Matter of fact, let me look it up, man. I feel like stop saying the guy. He probably said it one time, or it's probably said somewhere in the video, and it keeps slipping my mind as well too though, because dude is talented. Host Brandon Shaw, thank you. Yeah, what did he does though, man? Because he's a he's just a bass player, DJ, and all of that. He's pretty talented. Um, yep. Yeah, he's a musician. He's been doing his thing for a while. But yeah, other than that though, yeah, his videos with these is all awesome as well too. This one's is an iconic hip hop song, which the sample made a bigger with a remix sample made a bigger hit of it, and that's none than "The Choice Is Yours" by Black Sheep. He said how sample problems, and the video's called, if I can get to it, how sample problems led to a big hit. If that's what it's called exactly. Like I said, it cuts off on my little video as well too. But anyway, digging the greats. It's called not Michael. I hit Michael, but it's the great Michael. Jesus Christ. All right, shout out to the late great king of Michael. Yeah, how Sam probably led to a better version of the song, and that happens at times as well too. So I mean, but other than that, let's get to it.
The Choice Is Yours by Black Sheep was released in 1991, and this is a classic hip-hop song. But there are actually two versions of it. There's the regular album version, and then the revisited version, which is essentially...
I learned that lyrics later down the line, too. When I had the Yahoo Messenger and the music, I'm like, wait a minute, this ain't The Choice Is Yours song. What is this?
Remix, but it's actually a whole lot better than that. Today we're diving into this song, both versions actually, and seeing how a sample clearance issue was actually a good thing, leading to an even better version of this song. But before we dive in, there are two versions of this video. There's the one here on YouTube that you're about to watch, but the other, longer, extended, full edit is over on Patreon, and I can do things there that I can't do here on YouTube. So like, the thing that I'm gonna do at the very end of this video, it's just so much better on Patreon. So just so you know, patreon.com/diggingthegreats. Here we go. First, let's talk about Black Sheep. Black Sheep is made up of Drace and Mr. Long, hailing out of Queens, New York. They were part of the Native Tongues Collective, which includes other artists like De La Soul, the Jungle Brothers, Queen Latifah, The Tribe Called Quest, and many others. It's primarily Drace rapping and Mr. Long on production. Originally, Mr. Long saw it not as MC and DJ, but MC Hype Man, and a third person who's going to be their DJ. But it ended up just being a duo, and on their debut album from 1991, A Wolf in Sheep's Clothing, that's what we see, MC and production. Mr. Long looked back on this album saying, "Making that album took almost no time. I did all the beats in our crib, Drace wrote the rhymes, and then we just went in and laid everything down." Creating the album may have been a quick process, but releasing it was something else entirely. There were two big problems. For one, there were sample clearance issues. This album has a lot of samples in it.
I feel like a lot of that they dealt with a lot of that, especially in like the early 90s, because at the time, 80s, it was like a lot of songs going sample crazy. I told you that a lot of songs had like damn near over 10 samples in one song. So I guess when that got crazy, and then folks started trying, artists themselves who got samples started taking action, and it became a big deal. And that's why a lot of songs had to get remixed, remade, or this version can get released, or like watered down version of songs had to get released over the better sounding version. Prime example is RZA first joined as Prince Rakeem, or We Love You Rakeem, had the Denise Williams sample, but it didn't get clear, so he had to do the version we got, was a cool pop song, but not where it would go, and didn't sell as much though. But yeah, so that was the thing though. But glad a lot of that got fixed up in the way down the line, and we got a lot of good songs coming up. Although a lot of folks started taking crazy advantage of it, unfortunately in a bad way, and becoming the bigger issue though. But anyway, let's keep going with that.
we're about to get into. The other thing is just clearing the name Black Sheep, because there were two other groups, a rock group and a reggae group, also called Black Sheep. Because of these two issues, the name and the samples, this album wasn't released until over a year later. You might think this is a negative thing, like you're done with the album and all you want to do is release it. But this is actually the big reason why we have a remix at all. The duo's biggest song is The Choice Is Yours, but the original is pretty different.
Who's the black sheep? What's the black sheep? Now know who I am or when I'm coming, so you sleep.
Now, there are a lot of samples in that, so let's talk about a few of them. First, we've got the song Humpin' by the Bar-Kays from 1969. Here's the guitar slide. That right there. Now, listen for it in the track. Right here. There it is. Then we've got Her Favorite Style by Iron Butterfly from 1969. Listen to this.
Oh, that part.
How could you possibly... That's it right there.
Hold on a second. All right, make sure.
Boop bap, boop bap, boop bap, boop bap. Crazy. Then there's Big Sur Suite by Johnny Hammond from 1974. Now there's two elements in here. For one, there's the organ. That line right there. And then the other is this big, gorgeous upright bass ascending slide. Listen to this. Pick that tempo up, and here we go. Ready? That's it. The reason I know it's upright bass is because it's so smooth.
And you're a bass player.
If it was electric bass, it would go up by half-step increments because of the frets. Here, let me show you.
Here we go. Here you go.
Something like this.
Wow.
Can you believe I bought this thing just to do that one slide in one video? And that bass is being played by none other than the legendary Ron Carter. Ron Carter is an incredible jazz bassist who is featured on so many different jazz recordings, but also the song Verses from the Abstract by A Tribe Called Quest on the Low End Theory. That album was released just 1 month before Black Sheep's album. And upright bass is one of the greatest, if not the single greatest instrument. It does something to your soul. This has been studied by scientists and primarily myself, and I just love it because I'm an upright bass player myself. The point is, the native tongues love a good upright bass sample. As do I. Now, this original album version of The Choice Is Yours is great. Dre's is killing the verse. That beat is fantastic. We got that upright bass slide. Ron Carter killing it. But remember, this album release was postponed for over a year while they had to sort out sample clearance issues and clearing their own name. And for some people, myself included, when you finish a project, you have a bunch of momentum behind it, and then you hit a snag like this. It's disheartening, and then you lose all that momentum. But not Black Sheep. They leaned into this time, sharpening their skills and leveling up before the album was released. And it was a good thing too, because when they needed their second single, the label asked for The Choice Is Yours. But they decided to remix it and put that out instead. As Mr. Long explained, the remixing came about because the album itself was held up for a year because of sample clearances. So production-wise, I appreciated what I did a year earlier, but I was on a next level by the time the album came out, with finding samples and putting stuff together. I was evolving with the samples. So when Mercury Records executive Dave Gossett presented, okay, we want to do something hard for the second single, he suggested The Choice Is Yours. I heard it and was like, okay, well, I'm on a different level now, so let me do a remix. This new remix, officially called The Choice Is Yours Revisited, was officially released as their second single, and it's probably the version you know.
Who's the black sheep? What's the black sheep? Now know who I am or when I'm coming, so you sleep.
This new version has a different beat, and this was originally for Chi Ali, but he passed on it. Dre's performance is different too, and the third verse is different. Now let's break this one down because there's even more happening. First off, some of those samples that we just looked at are still in there. Take a listen. Here's that guitar slide. I'm just isolated the instrumental on here, so this isn't like studio tracks, but you can hear that in there. But we've also got new stuff like the song I'll Say It Again by Sweet Linda Divine from 1970. Take a listen to this vocal sample.
All right.
Right here.
Come on.
All right. Okay.
Come on.
Wow.
Come on. Come on. This or you can get with that. You can get with this.
Yeah, I think it was late.
We've also got a new bass line, which is the core of this new remixed version. And that's sampled from the song Impressions by McCoy Tyner from 1975.
Yeah, my mom said this is one of her favorite bass players of all time.
And he goes elsewhere from there, but that right there turns into Come On. Just take a wild guess at who that is playing bass. I'll give you a hint. He's a legendary jazz
Ron Carter.
bassist. He's a Native Tongues favorite.
Oh no,
His name's not Con Carter.
Ron
It's
Carter.
Yeah, it's Ron Carter, the same bass player who had that bass slide on the original version of this song. And the sample is in the middle of a bass cadenza, where basically the rest of the group stops
Yep.
playing and it's
this
just
is him,
bass.
yep.
He's sort of playing at a time, he's just going nuts on his own. Then he ends up landing playing these tenths, these sliding tenths. And playing tenths is one of the coolest things you can do on the upright bass. Well, let me just show you. Now, what's so cool about tenths is they're actually basically thirds. But the difference is there's an octave in between. So if you took the note G, beautiful, sounds great. Then you play a third above that, a major third, that's a B. If you play them both at the same time though, it's pretty muddy. Let's kick that up an octave though. Here's G, and here's B. Play them both at the same time. That's okay, it's a little better, but if we kick that G back down and we keep the B up, now instead of a third, we're separated by a tenth. Let's hear what that sounds like. All of a sudden we have this lush sounding chord. Then if we go to B flat and we play our D on top, which is our major third or major tenth, sounds gorgeous as well. These are so fun to play because it lays out perfectly on your whole hand like this. I'm also playing the lowest string and the highest string together. Then of course Ron Carter puts a slide in between both of these and then flourishes it with the third on top, going up a half step and then resolving back down like this. These are, of course, difficult to play over a long period of time. Ron Carter didn't play this riff over and over for 4 minutes. It's a sample. He played this one part and then flourished it a little more and then moved on. But I love that Mr. Long isolated just these bass tenths and said, that's the song. I love that a lot of this original version of the song is still in the remix, but everything's leveled up. It hits harder. We've got even more Ron Carter bass. It's connecting Ron Carter bass sample to Ron Carter bass sample. It's the same bass player recorded in 2 totally different years, 2 totally different artists on 2 totally different songs, and it's coming together on the same song. I will often play electric bass and DJ at the same time, but I've never done it with upright bass. I wonder...
Engine number 9 on the New York Transit line. Black Sheep can play like the Sony Innovator. Never the tray top, party and flavor. And you can get a scoop later. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. You can get with this, or you can get with that. Come on, this is kind of fat.
If this album were released as quickly as it was recorded, as quickly as the group might have wanted it to be, we would never have this revisited version of the song. The one that's a hit, the one that you know, the one that connects Ron Carter bass samples. And even Black Sheep themselves admit this is a better version of the song. But because they had that delay and took advantage of it, they took that time to level up, took that time to remix their existing work, writing a new third verse. They made The Choice Is Yours even better and made a hip-hop classic in the process. Speaking of hip-hop classics, I briefly mentioned The Low End Theory by A Tribe Called Quest. This was a monumental album, and I got to speak with legendary engineer Bob Power, who worked on not only The Low End Theory, but also Tribe's next album, Midnight Marauders. But that's all in this video right here.
I think I had a going that, but I can fit it in my sketch. But other than that, Cool videos always from him with the factual, actual, and all that. So other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Shout out to homie Brandon Shaw. This is how I finally remember his name. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.